Can you leave your cat alone? The consequences are terrifying. 1. Introduction: the myth of the independent cat. For centuries, we've comforted ourselves with a simple story. Cats are solitary, self-sufficient creatures, perfectly content in their own company. This myth has justified our long absences, painting them as aloof roommates rather than emotional beings. But modern science has shattered that comforting illusion. The unsettling truth? Prolonged loneliness can be devastating to your cat's mental and physical health. Groundbreaking research from 2020 revealed that a staggering 13.5% of cats display measurable signs of separation-related problems when frequently left alone. We now know they form attachments identical to human infants, seeking our comfort when stressed. The independent cat is a myth. The consequences of believing it are terrifying. 2. Ancient reverence: when cats were gods. To understand the depth of a cat's need for connection, we must first look back to a time when they were not just pets, but deities. This bond is ancient, forged over 9,000 years ago in Neolithic villages. In ancient Egypt, cats were sacred companions to the goddess Bastet, embodying protection, fertility, and the very heart of the home. To harm one was a crime punishable by death. Their reverence spanned cultures. Norse mythology featured Freya, goddess of love, whose chariot was pulled by two cats. Celtic druids believed they were spiritual guardians, capable of traversing between our world and the other world. The ancient Egyptians didn't just keep cats, they cherished them, mummifying them and mourning their passing as they would a human family member. 3. The Dark Ages: from gods to demons. This sacred bond was tragically severed in medieval Europe. The once revered cat underwent a monstrous transformation, becoming a feared symbol of evil. The Roman Catholic Church systematically linked them to heretics, witchcraft, and paganism. Black cats were believed to be witches in disguise, or demons sent to sever people from God. This wasn't just superstition, it was a death sentence. Women who lived alone with cats were accused of witchcraft and burned at the stake. Their feline companions often killed alongside them. This era bred a deep cultural suspicion, laying the foundation for centuries of misunderstanding the cat's true social nature. 4. The Victorian spinster: birth of the cat lady stigma. The Victorian era cemented a new, paradoxical stereotype: the lonely cat lady. An 1880 edition of the Dundee Courier declared that the old maid would not be typical of her class without the cat. These women were viewed as eccentric, their feline companions seen as mere substitutes for human connection. Paradoxically, this was also the dawn of modern pet keeping. Queen Victoria herself sparked a national trend by adopting two blue Persian cats. Yet, while the Victorians recognized human loneliness, they completely overlooked the cat's own emotional needs. The cat was seen as a comfort for the lonely, never as a creature that could be lonely itself. 5. The 20th century: the myth hardens. Despite social progress, the myth of the emotionally detached cat persisted through most of the 20th century. The crazy cat lady stereotype evolved but endured, further cementing the idea of the cat as a low-maintenance pet. This cultural bias significantly delayed scientific inquiry. Cats were rarely studied for separation anxiety until the very end of the century. It wasn't until the late 1990s that behaviorists began documenting the truth. Destructive scratching and inappropriate urination were not acts of spite, but often signs of profound emotional distress. The first comprehensive study identifying separation anxiety syndrome in cats wasn't published until 2002-2003. 6. The Brazilian breakthrough: science confronts loneliness.
The long-held myth was finally shattered by a landmark 2020 study from Brazil. This rigorous research proved that cats suffer measurable psychological harm when left alone too often. The study established that cats left alone more than 5 to 7 times per week were significantly more likely to develop separation-related problems. Out of 223 cats surveyed, 13.5%, met the clinical criteria for separation anxiety. Their bad behavior, destructive acts, excessive vocalization, urinating on their owner's bed, was not misbehavior. It was a panic response, a cry for help from an animal in distress. 7. The hidden epidemic. What happens when cats are left alone? The consequences of loneliness form a terrifying cascade of psychological and physical collapse. Behaviorally, urinating on your bed is an anxiety-driven attempt to surround themselves with your scent. Excessive vocalization echoes through empty homes, with sounds described as resembling a human infant's cry. Physically, chronic stress can trigger cortisol release, potentially reducing lifespan. They may overgroom to baldness, lose their appetite, or stop grooming entirely. The psychological devastation can manifest as deep depression or unpredictable aggression. 8. The horror stories, when loneliness turns fatal. Real-world cases reveal devastating outcomes. Consider Sparky, an 8-year-old cat left completely alone in a house for 4 years after his owners died. Though fed sporadically, he received no companionship. Rescuers found him traumatized and matted. In another case, a cat named Kurt lived alone for 8 months after his owner passed away. Fed by a caretaker who never interacted with him, Kurt deteriorated, developing infections from sitting in his own waste. These are testaments to profound suffering. 9. The science of feline attachment. Why cats can't just cope. Scientific research confirms that cats are deeply social creatures, with 64% forming secure attachments to their owners, comparable to dogs and human infants. This bond is rooted in early development. Kittens orphaned or weaned too early are significantly more prone to lifelong separation anxiety. Even their purring is not just for contentment, it's a care-soliciting signal used when stressed. They are not aloof, they are wired for connection. 10. The pandemic revelation. COVID-19 and the loneliness rebound. The COVID-19 pandemic created an unplanned global experiment. As millions of households acquired pets during lockdowns, cats grew accustomed to constant human presence. When people returned to work, veterinarians reported a dramatic surge in separation anxiety cases. This rebound anxiety served as undeniable proof of their deep-seated need for consistent social contact.
11. Warning signs. Is your cat silently suffering? How can you tell if your cat is a silent victim of loneliness? Behaviorally, be alarmed by inappropriate urination on your bed or clothes. Listen for excessive vocalization when you leave. Physically, chronic stress manifests as weight fluctuations, overgrooming to bald patches, or a suddenly unkempt coat. Emotionally, a depressed cat may withdraw, losing all interest in play. These symptoms are not acts of defiance. They are a cry for help. 12. The time threshold. How long is too long? Modern experts provide clear guidelines. Do not leave a cat alone for more than 24 hours without enrichment. However, the risk begins much sooner. Cats left alone for more than 6 hours a day show significantly higher rates of anxiety. Research shows that even the difference between 30 minutes and 4 hours of separation produces measurable changes in behavior. Some behaviorists argue that cats should never be left alone for more than 8 to 10 hours regularly. 13.
The dark truth about dying alone. A haunting question arises. If cats instinctively isolate themselves when ill, does a chronically lonely cat die alone in a more profound sense? This seclusion is a survival mechanism, not a rejection of their human bond. However, for a cat that has endured prolonged isolation, a terrifying paradox emerges. Has a lifetime of loneliness severed that bond? Veterinarians note that cats often seem to wait for their owners before dying, suggesting a profound connection that persists until the end. 14. Solutions and prevention, breaking the cycle of loneliness. Combating feline loneliness requires a multifaceted approach. Provide interactive toys, puzzle feeders, and window perches. Leave a TV or radio on for comfort. Consider adopting a second cat or arranging daily pet sitter visits. Practice gradual desensitization to your departures and use synthetic pheromone diffusers. Most importantly, never punish anxiety-driven behaviors. This only deepens the fear.
15. Conclusion. The weight of loneliness. The journey from ancient deity to solitary roommate has been a profound injustice. Science has revealed the haunting truth. Leaving your cat alone for too long quietly dismantles its emotional world. Cats are not aloof. They are selectively affectionate. They are not independent. They are stoically dependent. Their silence is not contentment. It is often a scream we have failed to hear. When we leave them, they do not simply wait. They grieve, they panic, and sometimes they break. 16. Epilogue. A call to awareness. This knowledge compels us to act. If you know someone who leaves their cat alone for extended periods, share this information. If you're considering getting a cat but work long hours, reconsider or commit fully to solutions that prevent loneliness. Our feline companions have spent 9,000 years evolving alongside us. They deserve better than to be abandoned in the very homes we share. Remember, more than 10% of cats are silently suffering from separation-related problems right now. Most of their owners have no idea. Be the one who changes that. So, the next time you reach for your keys and see your cat watching you, you'll know the truth behind those eyes. You now hold the power to change their entire world. If this glimpse into the secret emotional life of your feline friend shocked you, or even just made you think, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button right now. It tells the YouTube algorithm that this is important content that needs to be seen by every cat owner out there. And subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. We're just getting started. Next week, we're debunking another huge cat myth that is secretly making your cat fat and unhappy. You won't want to miss it. Until then, go give your cat some love from me. They've been waiting for you.